7830.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the West Coast, it's time for Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Your inside look into combat sports. Ring Talk Live Worldwide, brought to you by the WBC, the World Boxing Council.
It is absolutely necessary that we all get together. We work together. We respect each other. We like and love each other.
And now, the host of the longest-running fight show in radio and internet history.
I'm getting tired of people running from me in the ring. Mike Tyson, Holyfield, you a bunch of bums. Stand up and be a man and fight a real fighter.
Pedro Fernandez.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen. Emanating, coming at you from the multi-million-dollar Sports Byline Studios. Check it. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Often imitated, but never duplicated. 3738. Now, get this. Come September 2024, it'll be 40 years of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. I'll never forget. Charles J. starts me, calls me on the phone back in 1984. I'm a policeman in San Francisco at the patrol station, and he wants me to do 10 minutes of radio. We'll call it Ring Talk. I said, okay, we'll call it Ring Talk. And then 4 years later, after doing radio with him for 4 years, we broke off and did our own thing. So the bottom line is we've been kicking ass now for 40 years, knocking out all bumps. Straight up, my name is Pedro Fernandez, if you didn't know that. Of course, I am your ever so modest host. When I say modest, big caps. I'm a 4-time Golden Glove champion, and I'm an award-winning boxing writer. So I bring a unique combination of dance. I am not your average Pedro. Check me out on Twitter, not average Pedro. Of course, last night, down under, Vasyl Lomachenko, 38 years old, 48 years old. God knows how old those Russians are, but the bottom line is the kid from Ukraine looked very good last night. Of course, they're taking apart George Kambosos over 10 rounds. Kambosos not much coming in other than the fact that he beat Teofimo Lopez at one point in time. But then again, Teo, hot and cold. But the bottom line is last night, Kambosos was not in Vasyl Lomachenko's league and was stopped in 10 rounds. So we'll talk about that and more. Of course, Ryan Garcia, is he on PEDs? Is he not on PEDs? The heavyweight championship goes down next week. Oleg Usyk, of course, challenging Tyson Fury. Or is Tyson Fury the uncrowned champion now because Francis Ngannou beat him and then Joshua beat Francis Ngannou? Lots of complications there. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide, your inside look at the world of boxing and MMA, coming to you on Sports Byline, iHeartRadio, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, the American Forces Network, cable radio, and of course, Vive TV and the WBC TV channel, coming to you on Facebook. Straight up, this is Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
Golden Gloves is the top of amateur boxing. It's a national boxing tournament that takes place once a year. Boxers get to compete against other boxers from all over the United States. In 2024, it will be in the city of Detroit.
Let's go, Detroit! Let's go, Detroit!
We worked with Downtown Boxing Gym and the local Golden Gloves to bring the national championship here to Detroit.
It draws a national audience. A lot of people grew up going to the Golden Gloves and watching the Golden Gloves. It was almost like the Olympics of boxing. This is a great opportunity for local businesses to get national exposure.
Detroit has so much boxing heritage, so much history here, and this just really adds to the narrative to Detroit as a boxing destination.
When I step in the ring, I feel like nobody can beat me. To make it to this level, you need hard work, you need dedication. During a national tournament, I'll be kicking some butt.
The Golden Gloves are important because they're just a high-level competition and people fighting for their chance to be the best.
You're gonna just see some great athletes on display.
It's right downtown, Huntington Place, so it's easy to purchase, take in and walk in and show support for the boxers.
Come out to the Golden Gloves and support boxers just like me.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
We take it from the soul side of town, Oakland, California, to the UK and bring in Sir Kenneth Rainford, of course. King Charles, the king has been ill lately, so he hasn't had a chance to knight my next guest, but straight up, he should be knighted. Sir Kenneth Rainford, how's life treating you?
It's doing good, Pedro. Long time no speak.
Yeah, somebody said it's been since December. That's a long time for you and I not to go talking. So the bottom line is I feel compelled to want to talk to you quite often. Of course, now you're going to Saudi Arabia with the champ?
I am indeed. I fly out Tuesday afternoon. I'll be there Tuesday evening, and then it's all guns blazing for the fight Saturday.
Is Tyson Fury embarrassed over the fact that he got slapped around by an MMA guy?
Do you know what? I think every fighter goes some stage in their career where they take someone who they think they're just going to walk through and beat up and look spectacular with, and it goes.
Juan Rodriguez, Kenny. Juan Rodriguez. I used to beat him up in the gym. I dropped him with body shots. Okay, I mean that's dominating, dude. When you drop him with body shots, I got into a real fight with him. And he kicked my ass.
Really?
I didn't train. My mother was saying to me, maybe you should be sprinting a little bit more. I said, Mom, the guy's a bum. That's what I said to her. Yeah. Mom, the guy's a bum. The guy's a bum. And I kept saying that. And then she said to me afterwards, he wasn't a bum, was he, Pete?
Well, this is it. And the whole story with Ngannou stems back to the Prince wanting someone to put in front of Tyson Fury that would make him look spectacular. And he thought this was the guy. And unfortunately, it may have been the case if he'd have trained, but he didn't. And he didn't train as he should have done. And the whole spectacular brought Ngannou into big paydays, which is I'm good for him for. But
time out, Kenny. $50 million. He made $20 million on one fight and $30 million on another. The most he ever made with the MMA guys when he sold out an arena one night for $8 million. Right? $8 million. That's not counting the pay-per-view money. He got $500,000 plus a $50,000 bonus from Dana White. Dana White's a pimp. When I say pimp on this air, I mean pimp.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean he just uses these fighters to make huge amounts of money for himself. He's the Don King of the MMA.
No. Here's what's up. Don King left a few nickels for guys. Okay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Don left a few nickels for guys. Besides, Don didn't screw me or you. You know what I'm saying? Right?
No, that's exactly right.
So we have nothing but neutral and or positive interactions with him. People said to me the other day, how can you like that man? Well, at one point in time, he wanted to be the best man at my wedding. I was going to get married like about 25 years ago, and he said, "Hey, he heard me proposing to this girl. She was in Colombia, and I'm proposing on the phone. He says, I want to be the best man." So DK wants to be the best man. We're setting this all up and everything. The chick canceled out 2 weeks before. We were living together in the city by the Bay of San Francisco. We weren't getting along. She said, maybe we shouldn't get married. We didn't. And that was that. But DK was going to be the best man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I've got nothing bad to say about Don King personally.
Except he kills people.
Yeah, well, he's got a checkered past. A lot of fighters have got that. Larry Holmes loves him.
Oh, no. Here's what's up. Listen. The first guy that Don shot to death, the guy robbed his book. He was a bookie. So he's running a bookie, numbers, and they're betting it. The guys are betting underworld bets and this kind of stuff in his office there in Cleveland, Ohio. And some guy walks in and robs him with a gun. And the guy stuck a gun in Henrietta's face. Henrietta would later become Henrietta King. That would later become his wife. Okay. But at that point in time, it was his partner's wife. And that's what went down. So he stuck the gun in Henrietta's face. When the guy turned around, Don shot him in the back. That was the end of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't turn your back on Don King.
I'll tell you. Do you know the funny story about Don, though? This is a real good one. And all the cameras were on him. And they said, is it true that you stole off Muhammad Ali and other fighters? And he went, hell, of course I did. Of course I did. He said, but why'd you do that, Don? He said, well, if I didn't do it, someone else would have.
Listen, King and I have went back and forth, and he's flown me around the world. He's caught me cheating on travel tickets and all that kind of good stuff, and he didn't dog me for. I told you that story, right, where he was flying me around for those King Vision broadcasts. He was flying me business and or first class, and I was cashing in the tickets before I got there and flying coach.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that one now.
Yeah, I made about $7,000 doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, come
best
on, man. I
of
mean,
luck.
he sent me to Malaga, Spain, right? He sent me to Malaga, Spain to do some stuff for him. So I go to Spain, I go to Madrid. It's like a $4,000 ticket. I mean, it's a first class ticket, a $4,000 ticket. So I went to the airport. I said, "Can I get a coach ticket?" The coach ticket was like $600. I mean, holy cow! And I'm only 150, 160 pounds at the time. I can fit in any seat, man. No problem whatsoever. So that's how I pocketed all that money. And then one time he finds out we're in Puerto Rico. He says to me, Don wants to see you in his office. And he ain't happy. I said, oh, man, look in here. He goes, man, you've been cashing in those tickets, huh? I said, yeah. He goes, MF, if you're ever late, you're fired. And he left it at that.
Yeah. He probably admires you for it.
Yeah, I thought that was a good hustle before 9/11.
That's the Don King hustle. Don would have done exactly the same thing.
Okay. Oleg Usyk, 21-0, 14 KOs. He's small. Tyson Fury is 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 270 pounds, whatever. Anyway, size matters in two things: pornography and combat sports. Will size be the determining factor here?
Well, let me tell you, I stood with the two of them in October. Tyson Fury 6'9". Usyk, I was expecting to be about 6'2". He's not. He's about 6'4". Mm-hmm. Either he's got these elevated shoes on, or he was a lot bigger than what I thought he was. I know that Tyson Fury has had Ty Mitchell, who's a big cruiserweight, sparring with him, and he's also a southpaw, and they've been working each other to death. Whether Ty Mitchell's the kind of sparring partner he needs for Usyk, I don't know, but I'm going to go with Tyson Fury, late stoppage or a point win.
I've always been a proponent of size. I just have. I mean, when I've been bigger than guys, I've never lost to a smaller guy, Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, I just said any guys. Well, I remember when they told me, yeah, so and so's moving up from 132 to 139. I'm going, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm celebrating. Let him move up in weight.
Yeah. And Usyk's a counterpuncher. Is he going to be tall enough to counterpunch a big guy like Fury? He did it with Anthony Joshua, but Fury's a different thing, and he's up for this fight.
He's up for this fight, and that's what's important, because the guy's a mental case. You and I know that to an extent, and when he's not ready, he's not ready. He wasn't ready for the Ngannou fight. Obviously, he looked fatter than a pig, but I've seen some pictures of him lately, and he looks like, unless they're doing Photoshop, he looks like me. He looks lean.
Oh, he is lean. There's no two ways about it. He is lean. The danger, of course, as you know yourself, Pedro, is overtraining.
Man, I never overtrained. I never, because I only fought 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I didn't have to go 12 or 15 rounds, anything like that. So the overtraining thing was never an issue. It was when they had to send me away. I mean, when they would say to me, you're 135 pounds now, and you're supposed to be 139, go away for a couple of days, stuff like that. So it was cool. I had my fun. Listen, when I look, today's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to Kenny Rainford's mom.
Yeah.
No, don't laugh, man. Hey, listen, if it wasn't for our mothers, we wouldn't be who we are, Kenny.
I'm telling you, my mother is the greatest human being I've ever known. So there you go.
And I'll say this: I'll never forget. I lost that fight that we talked about with Juan Rodriguez, where I got lit up like a White House Christmas tree. Okay, so I went home, and the house is dark, and my mother's smoking a cigarette. She was a bad cigarette smoker. That's what killed her. But she's smoking a cigarette in the front room, so I can see the flame of her cigarette lighting up. She's hitting it, right? She goes, "Come here." I said, "Yeah." So I walk in the front room. She goes, "Listen, I'm not going to let you embarrass yourself or the family." I said, "Say what?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "You weren't ready for this fight. Either you want to get ready for these fights, either you want to prepare yourself 100%, Pete, or you just don't do it." And I'm going, "But Mom, Pop." She goes, "No buts." She goes, "He kicked your ass tonight." She goes, "And you're much better than him. You got tired. You look like you had asthma." I mean, she read me the riot act, man. Of course, then I never failed as far as conditioning was concerned after that, ever. Yeah. It's your mother, man. Your mother can kick you in the ass better than anybody else.
Oh, without a doubt. When you go on, when you were talking about overconfidence and stuff, I remember having a conversation with Kenny Norton many years ago now. When he fought Jerry Quarry, admittedly, Quarry was maybe behind his best days were behind him, but they sparred together in 1970 when Kenny was raw, and Jerry dropped him with a left hook to the body, and the spar got stopped. Kenny Norton said, "From that day on, I always wanted to get revenge on Jerry Quarry." He knew that once he improved around about, say, 73, 74, he knew in his mind he could beat Jerry Quarry.
Jerry, you know what's funny is I interviewed Jerry Corey at the LA Forum before he had that last fight in the Colorado where that guy almost killed him, and then he died less than 2.5 years later from pugilistic dementia. But Jerry was an interesting guy. He knocked out Ernie Shavers in one round.
I know he did, yeah. And you know what? I remember after the fight, he said, "Oh, I didn't feel any. You know, he caught you a couple of times. Yeah, I didn't feel a thing." And yet, years later, I think it was about 1978 or 79. He wrote an article in, I think it was Ring magazine or one of them, the truth behind the Shavers fight, and he gave Ernie a glowing report saying Ernie hit him with a jab which loosened 3 of his teeth. He hit him with that. And he was raving about Ernie's power. Yeah, on the day, whether there was a bit of hatred going on, he didn't want to give Ernie any credit in the day. He just said, "No, I didn't feel any of the shots," you know. But afterwards, this compelling article, he basically said every shot that Ernie hit him with, it was like a flash of lightning.
Yeah, Ernie was a good guy. Let's take a break. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing and MMA. We'll bring back Sir Kenneth Rainford. Listen, King Charles is sick, so nobody can get through to this guy. I'm trying to get Sir Kenneth here knighted. Does somebody have a connection with the king? Call me and let me know.
I'm Frank Ripley, inventor of Frackwell, the boxer's water bottle. You're watching WBC Live channel, powered by Vive.
Money and for what they can get. I don't have no friends. I wrote a poem that says, friendship is a priceless gift that cannot be bought nor sold, but its value is far greater than a mountain made of gold. For gold is cold and lifeless. It can neither see nor hear, and in time of trouble it is powerless to cheer. Gold, it has no ears to listen, no heart to understand. It cannot not bring you comfort or reach out a helping hand. So when you ask God for a gift, be thankful if he sends, not diamonds, pearls, or riches, but the love of real true friends. Friends are very rare.
Ali tried to explain the concept of friendship to me in a van one time. We're cruising through China. He sort of got his point across, but that basically spells it all right there. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing and MMA. I want to mention the WBC Fighter of the Year was Pedro Guevara. Last night, he beat Andrew Maloney in a WBC 115-pound title fight down there in Australia, and I was much impressed with that. Did you get to see that, Sir Kenneth?
I haven't seen boxing for quite some time. I caught up with the Canelo fight earlier on today, but I've been just so busy. I've got a whole load of boxing to catch up on.
Well, you can skip the Canelo fight. You know why? Because he carried Munguia after about the fourth round. I mean, all in all, Munguia landed a few shots, and people said, "Oh boy!" But I thought it was one Mexican carrying the other Mexican and not wanting to make him look bad.
Really?
Yeah. That's the way it went 12. I mean, because I looked at Munguia's record. He's 43-0, or he was 43-0 with a draw coming in. But the bottom line is, most of those guys he fought, 39 or 40 of those guys he fought, weren't worthy.
Right. Okay.
So tell me.
I've seen the highlights of the body shot where he dropped him with not a body shot, an uppercut.
Oh yeah, that was nice. All right, but let's go. Let's talk about Benavidez and Canelo. Do people in the UK recognize that Benavidez is as talented as he is? 28-0, 24 KOs.
Oh, most definitely. He's definitely a gifted fighter. No two way about it.
Okay, and if you were ranked number one for 3 years and the WBC didn't give you a title shot with Canelo over a title they took off your waist at a weigh-in because you lost it because you didn't make the weight, what would you do?
Well, I mean, number one, you stay active, you pick the right fights, and you just holler out for that title shot back. You can't keep a fighter 3 years in line waiting for the title shot.
So you sue him like Graciano Roccaggini did. I mean, you sue these guys. You got to sue. I mean, if they're not adhering to their own rules, they should be held in some type of contempt.
Correct. You're number one contender for a reason, and within a 12-month period of being number one contender, you get your shot.
But 3 years, the interim champion, the former champion. I mean, good Lord, number one contender. How many excuses can they come up with?
Exactly. That's it. Excuses. Once it doesn't happen, it's an excuse. There's no reason for it. There's no reason to fight other fighters when the number one contender is sitting there waiting in line, ready to go.
And what's funny is that Canelo says things, well, like he brings nothing to dance but 20 extra pounds. In other words, weight bullying and that kind of good stuff. Then he says, well, the guy's not respectful, this and that. What the hell does that have to do with it? See, that's what I'm trying to say, that he carried Munguia because Munguia was respectful.
Well, do you really think Canelo would carry anyone?
No. If you watch this fight the other night, he definitely carried him.
Yeah, because I always find Canelo wants the spectacular knockout, like he's done so many times before. But like you say, he's fighting out of his weight category anyway.
Yep.
But like I say, that in itself gives indications to maybe why he doesn't want to fight Benavidez.
But here's what's up. No, he fought Bivol. He lost Bivol unanimously across the board. Of course, that was an optional fight for him, a WB 175-pound title. Lost that. Then he took on Ryder and Charlo, and then Munguia. I mean, 3 guys in a row. Listen, let me tell you, Bailey Peck would put up a better shot than these guys.
Charlo came up 2 weights to fight him.
That's what I'm saying. Bailey wouldn't have to gain the weight, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting old, and you know what? Mexicans are falling for this. You know what they're saying now? They're saying it's okay if he doesn't fight Benavidez. What? Yeah, all over social media now, Mexicans are saying it's okay if he doesn't fight Benavidez. Benavidez is of Mexican and Ecuadorian descent and living in the United States.
Yeah, no, that's not acceptable at all. No way, shape, or form is that acceptable. You got to fight him, and that's it.
Okay, so what's up? What's up with the Ryan Garcia thing? Were you surprised he bounced Devin Haney on the floor as many times as he did?
Thank you for sharing.
Perhaps looking back, maybe not. No, but I think we were just overlooking a bit of power.
Well, I think he's got a glass jaw.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't care. I mean, every time there was contact made with his chin, he sort of wobbled.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and,
is that his chin or is that his weight making process? I don't know.
you know, I don't want to hear this. He weighed 165 when he got in the ring. He weighed 5 pounds more than allegedly than Ryan Garcia did. Ryan Garcia weighed 140. Listen, when I weighed in 139, I stepped into the ring at 143 pounds max. So I couldn't imagine. Yeah. And then one time I told you I stepped away from junior welterweight to welterweight, and I got slapped around real good, and I went back to junior welterweight in a minute because the size I couldn't handle. Size matters in two things: pornography and combat sports. Now back to Devin Haney. As Ryan Garcia, is it official? He's cleared the PED thing, or what? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know that yet.
It's getting old, man. It's really rough. I mean, guys, everybody's cheating. I think. Don't you think everybody's cheating and they're covering it up? A lot of people are cheating and they're covering it up, Kenny.
Oh, I mean, listen, we've got to. The one we got to look at is the one we just speaking about. Canelo. Is Canelo doing all this naturally? You know, is he not cheating? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. I mean,
well, no. Canelo got caught with steroids that time, but he blamed it on his butcher. He said it was the meat.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go.
Contaminated? Contaminated Mexican meat. The entire country of Mexico is got steroid problems because of the fact they were eating the meat.
Yeah.
Not the first time. There's not the first time this stuff would come out of that Eddie Reynosa camp. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah, but yeah, cheating. Yeah, it's a diabolical disgrace. I mean, boxing is the hardest game, bar none. And when you get people cheating in it, it just makes it even more devastating to think. You know, I don't know.
Well, I'll bring up last night's fight between Andrew Maloney and Pedro Guevara. One judge had a 115, 113. And from Mongolia, one judge had a 115, 113 from Mexico, and the third judge from Australia had a 116, 113 the other way. In other words, she had an 8-3-1 for Maloney in a fight where he got beat easily.
Yeah,
but 8-3-1 the other way. She should be arrested for impersonating a judge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that kind of scoring.
What about that? What about that Harvey Dock guy a couple weeks ago with Haney? What was up with him? What was the referee doing? I mean, Ryan Garcia was acting a fool, but it looked like he bet on Haney.
Yeah. It shades again of that legendary fight. You know, 3 good judges, real top class judges, of which I knew 2. I got to know 2. Was the Holmes Cooney fight? You know, how the hell was that ever as close as it was?
Yeah. You know, but let's be honest. At least boxing has advanced to an extent because 100 years ago there was only one judge, and that was the referee. Or 110 years ago, was the only one judge who was referee, and he could be bought real easily.
Yeah. What's your view on that, Pedro? Would you have the referee score a fight, or would you have 3 judges? Because I feel myself the referee's got enough to do with just managing in the fight, let alone scoring.
Yeah, I think. Listen, referees are not Arthur McCanty-ish. In other words, I appreciated the Godfather Arthur McCanty. He was my good friend, and of course, he was the guy that refereed the first Ali Frazier fight. But you know, he talked to me about he said that sometimes it's better for the referees to score the fights because they're in there and they get to see things, this and that. But he admitted that some referees are limited and they can't do 2 things. They can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
I agree.
So, Kenny, when you leaving?
Tuesday, 2 days.
Okay, are you flying coach?
I'm flying coach, unfortunately. Last time I flew business class, and I had the luxury of all the luxuries that go with it. But this time it's coach class, I'm afraid.
Hey, coach, listen, you and I, we're not fat, so coach is cool. Coach is cool. You know, hey, listen, I have a friend of mine, and I don't want to mention his name, this and that, but I was talking about going to Vegas the other day, and I said to him, we'll put you in a first class seat. And I looked at him, he's bigger than a first class seat.
Oh, yeah. When we went over in October, I could tell you a funny story quickly. We're all at the airport. There's Joe Kilzaghi, Frank Bruno, Ricky Hatton, a whole bunch of British world champions. And we're in the waiting area, waiting to get on board the plane. And Ricky Hatton says, I'm going to make the most of this flight. I'm going to drink the plane dry. Because when we get there, there's no alcohol. When he got on the plane, he failed to realize it was Saudi Airways. There is no alcohol on the plane.
Good enough. Anyway, all the best. You have a great trip. You know, I love you and I miss you. And I hope to talk to you real soon, my brother. Good luck, good health in Saudi Arabia.
No problem. God bless, buddy.
Sir Kenneth Rainford, folks. Sir Charles will knight him sooner rather than later, believe me. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. More boxing after the break.
I am the Tasmanian Devil, 5-time world champion. Tune in to the WBC. Tune in.
Manos de Piedra es todo un personaje en el mundo pugilístico. Hombre carismático cuya carrera fue muy dura en sus inicios. Surgido del barrio El Chorrillo, Panamá, Roberto Durán se hizo boxeador profesional en 1970. Apareció por primera vez en México, ganando ese mismo año en la Arena México. En 1972, obtuvo su primer título mundial peso ligero en el Madison Square Garden de Nueva York. Su estilo y poder de puños lo convirtieron en un enorme atractivo para los aficionados y un verdadero ídolo dentro y fuera de su país. El primer combate contra Sugar Ray Leonard es épico. 20 de junio de 1980 en Montreal, Canadá, donde conquistó el campeonato mundial welter WBC. Vendrían todavía 2 décadas más de espectáculo garantizado con Manos de Piedra hasta llegar a las 119 peleas disputadas. Ganó 103 y 70 terminaron antes del límite.
Fernandez.
My thing is that, you know what, we're all special. We know, like you said, nobody deserves to go out like this. And unfortunately, my card was dealt with, you know, having to go out like this. And, well, you know, all I can say is that I had 45 great, wonderful years of life. I had 20 good, wonderful, great people behind me throughout my boxing career, which is all the fans, all you guys from the first. You know, I love you guys. I appreciate everything you guys ever did for me.
That was Gennaro Hernandez, former junior lightweight and featherweight champion, I believe, of course, 2-division champion, WBA champion out of LA. I mean, fantastic fighter. Only lost 2 fights in his life, so off once to Oscar De La Hoya when he had a broken nose going into the fight. Shane Mosley broke his nose about a week before the fight. They went through the fight because it was a big payday. They couldn't, turn it down. So they went into that fight and lost against De La Hoya in 6 rounds. And then in his last fight, he lost against Floyd Mayweather in 10 rounds. But the bottom line is, Gennaro Hernandez would have been 58 years old on May the 10th. May wish him a very happy birthday. I miss the guy. He was a classy guy. I loved him. And that interview I just did with him right there, it was 3 days before he died. I was crying. It was when I had to stop myself from getting wet eyes here, but I was crying. It was an emotional day, no doubt about that. May he rest in peace, the great Gennaro Hernandez. Now, last night, let's talk about Vasyl Lomachenko. 18-3, of course, 13 KOs, former 2-time world champion, scored an 11th round knockout against former champion George Kambosos. Kambosos now 21-3, 10 KOs, can't punch. He beat Teofimo Lopez. I still can't figure that out. I mean, think about that. He beat Lopez. Lopez at one point in time, he fought so good to make you know what hard. But the bottom line is something about Teofimo. I mean, he lost to Sandor Martin, then he beat Josh Taylor. He's like hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. He's got some issues. I don't know if they're in and out of the ring, but the bottom line is Teofimo Lopez is an unpredictable guy, no doubt about that. But at 140 pounds, That was just 140 pounds. That's too big for Lomachenko. 135 pounds is probably where he belongs at this point in time. And last night, it wasn't that he looked so good because he was improved or better. It was that Kambosos was inferior. I mean, it was just plain old inferior competition. In other words, when I saw George Kambosos beat Teofimo, I said to myself, what's going on here? I mean, the guy looked like he had some world-class talent. But in the 2 fights against Haney and the fight last night, he proved one thing to me in those 3 fights, right? He can't fight a lick. He couldn't lick a stamp if he wet his tongue. And why do I say that? I mean, look, he didn't win a round against Haney. Haney went down there twice. Got to give Haney props for this. Haney went down and took advantage of the situation. He went down to Australia. He fought the clown twice, made twice as much money as he should have, had 2 easy fights, maybe lost a round, maybe 2 rounds in the 24 rounds of sparring with the Australian. But the bottom line is Haney made some money. Of course, Haney now, if you got that voiceover ready, is that voice already? Roll the voiceover. This is Devin Haney's roll voiceover from last week.
All right, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want Haney to win. I want a clean fight. Y'all touch gloves. Let's go.
Ryan, I know you can't fight, boy. I saw that crazy stuff you was posting on Instagram. Ow! Bro, hey, bro, help. Got your back. Save me. Hey, Ryan, get off my guy. I ain't going out like this. Oh. Okay, let's go. Headshot challenge. Go to sleep. Yeah, how you like that? Back up or disqualify your ass. Whoa, hey, bro. Man. A bullet. Oh. You get up now. 5. Hey, man, you ain't count right. 7. It's been 10 seconds. 8. Yeah, you wait. All right, man, get your composure, okay? I'm gonna give you 2 seconds. Rub it. All right. Man, back up before I swing on you. Ref, come on. All right, get him, Haney. Right back, Haney. Right back. Hey, man, get off me. No diddy. Oh! Throw the damn down. Oh! Yeah. It's time. I should swing on you, beating on my dude like that. Get your ass in your corner.
Harvey Dock, the referee, of course, did perform so admirably that night. No doubt about that. He should trade in his license, because the bottom line is he really looked like he was Devin Haney's pocket. I mean, I've never seen a referee go to that extreme to protect a guy. What did Bernard Hopkins say? It was a brother protecting another brother. I mean, Bernard's one of the promoters. He's one of the promoters, and he says it was a brother protecting another brother. So Harvey Dock, I think he was like more than biased in that, and I think that he should suspend himself or just resign. Don't do it again. Don't say, "Oh, I'll come back. I'll be good." No. You showed what you were in that one fight. That, to me, is an illustration of your career as a professional referee. Listen, it boils down to one fight. What have you done for me lately? And what was your best fight and your worst fight? Well, it all came together for you, Harvey Dock. You should be disqualified from refereeing professional boxing. No doubt about that. Now, one of the co-features last night, and I'm super hot on this one. Get this. Pedro Guevara. Who's Pedro Guevara? People don't know a lot about him, but at one point in time, he was a WBC light flyweight champion, 108 pounds. Then he moved up to 112 pounds, didn't do too well there. And then he went to 115. And of course, at 115, Juan Estrada is a real champion at 115 as far as the WBC is concerned. But they had a WBC elimination or an interim title fight last night between Andrew Maloney of Australia, one of the Maloney brothers, of course, 24-4 now, 16 KOs. And my man, Pedro Guevara. Guevara is 41-4. I mean, good Lord, he came to fight and he won with body shots. I mean, guys don't win with body shots anymore, but he won with body shots. He threw 85 body punches that connected. That's a lot of punches for a lot of body shots for a 12-round fight. But that's what he kept going to. And of course, Maloney would say that he hurt his arm and his left bicep was hurt, and he caused a bit of some controversy afterwards, knocking over chairs and that kind of stuff. Listen, he's just a bad sport. Just a bad sport. Got his tail whooped on television in front of his own people. Now listen. He went into that fight with a torn tricep or a bicep in his right or left arm, couldn't throw the left hook. That's on you. That's on you. Don't come up with the excuse afterwards. You made the decision to go into the ring like that. You could have postponed the fight, but no. You thought that you were going to be able to roll over this Mexican with one arm. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. And the fighter of the week this week is the WBC fighter of the week, the WBC interim 115-pound champion is Pedro Guevara of Mexico. Now, listen, those judges last night, they were trying to go the other way. As I mentioned earlier, Samantha Bullner, lady judge out of Australia, had a 116-113, had an 8-3-1, a 12-round fight, 8-3-1 in rounds the other way. I had a 7-5 the other way. In other words, that's a lot of rounds to be off. Something's wrong. Something's criminal. Come on, man. I mean, listen, that's not a coincidence. The hometown judge, the judge from Australia, has a guy up 8-3-1 in rounds, and he lost the fight. It was a 12-round fight. He lost the majority of the 12-round fight. Even if he lost 7-5, that's a lot of points the other way. So I'm trying to tell you is that was inept judging last night, and that's why they got away from the one referee being the sole arbiter in boxing, because you can always get to the referee and bribe the referee. But guess what? It's hard to bribe 3 judges, and it's hard to get 3 judges to look the other way, or 2 judges out of 3 to look the other way. And that's what was good last night. Back in the day, I used to complain about Darby Shirley in Las Vegas. Of course, he was Dave Moretti as well. They come up with boxing referee. But the bottom line is, you want to give her props for being the clown that she is. You want to give Guevara the props for going down under and beating one of their guys. Now, want to mention the fact that, Dubai. I'm thinking about going back to the Middle East. Somebody said to me, do you want to go back to the Middle East? I'm trying to work out a deal. We can go over there as far as advertising is concerned. Listen, you don't bring weed to Dubai. Speaking of Dubai, the reason why I mentioned Dubai is that Floyd Mayweather has been detained in Dubai. My favorite guy, the greatest fighter of all time. Not. He's made a lot of money. True. Evidently, he went over to Dubai and he owed somebody some money, and they sort of put a marker on him out in Dubai. So the Dubai government put him in jail. He was in jail there for a week. Now, I don't know if he's left yet or not, but at one point in time, Floyd Mayweather was being detained in Dubai for not paying bills. Now, Floyd stiffing people? Nothing new there. But the bottom line is Floyd is in trouble, and we wish him the very best luck, because nobody wants to be in Dubai jail. That's why I didn't bring any weed to Dubai. I mean, I wasn't bringing I brought weed everywhere I went in the world, maybe with a couple asterisks, but I never would bring any weed to Dubai. You know why? Life sentence, death penalty for hash and stuff like that. Come on, you got to be kidding me. Listen, they're worried about hash and marijuana over there, and everybody smells like BO. Work on the BO problem first, then we get to the hash thing. Straight up, you are to the Ring Talk Live Worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing and MMA. So I want to mention the fact that this judge, and I want to give him all kinds of props here, without a doubt, Zarishma Tazna. He was the 3rd judge, a judge from Mongolia that had the intestinal fortitude last night to score the fight 115-113 for the Mexican Pedro Guevara, because he was under a lot of pressure, believe me. And you know what? The Australians didn't do any booing last night. They're pretty opinionated when it comes to, they'll boo, they're very emotional. Well, last night they took that ass kick in the hand. The only one who didn't take the ass kicking well was Andrew Maloney himself, of course, and Andrew is not my favorite guy. Now, back to last week's fight, somebody shot me a text. I'm down on Canelo. Listen, if I was the number 1 guy for 3 years, I couldn't imagine being the top dog and not getting it. I mean, come on, man. You fight your life off to get to this number 1 slot, and then you get to the number 1 slot, and then they ignore you for 3 years. It's like you don't even exist, and you're the former champion. I got a problem with that. And then as far as Canelo's concerned, I guess we have to rename him Canella and put him in Victoria's Secrets outfits and that kind of stuff. Because you know what? He's saying, David Benavidez doesn't bring nothing to the dance except 25 extra pounds. Listen, pal, there were times when you were weight bullying people. Nobody said anything. I mean, you weight bullied Charlo. We talked about that a little earlier. Of course, he was 14 pounds lighter, 14 pounds naturally lighter than you as far as boxing divisions were concerned. He fought at 154. You took him on at 168. Of course, he didn't throw a punch in with any bad intentions for 12 rounds. John Ryder tried, but he was inept. Of course, Demetrio Bivol beat you like a girl. And then you take on the Mexican club fighter from Tijuana, the man that's fought more Tijuana cab drivers than anybody I know. I'm talking about Jaime Munguia. And I respect Munguia to an extent because he knew his spot. He knew his spot. You don't talk too much smack. You get the big money fight with Canelo. You go into the fight with Canelo. You shake his hands. You don't tell him. You don't say anything like, I'm going to beat you up in front of your mother, that kind of good stuff. You don't insult Canelo. Canelo says, you're respectful. I'm going to carry you the distance. That's exactly what happened. If he didn't carry him, Jaime Munguia would not have made 12 rounds. So it was a good night for Mexico boxing, no doubt about that, as far as the results were concerned. I mean, everybody's high on Canelo down there still. I can't believe they are. I mean, it's time to stick a fork in him. He's done. I mean, when Chavez got old, he had some problems with Frankie Randall and guys like that. I get that. But he was willing to fight those guys. I mean, even though he didn't want to fight Randall at first, he eventually had to fight Randall. And he lost the first fight with Randall and won the second fight, although they were both very controversial. What I'm trying to tell you is that, can you imagine Salvador Sanchez, the greatest Mexican fighter of all time in the minds of many, the former featherweight champion of the world, was the man that knocked out the pound-for-pound king in September of 1981, Wilfredo Gomez in 10 rounds in Las Vegas when Gomez was 32-0 with 32 knockouts. I mean, Salvador Sanchez, the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, he's got to be rolling over in his grave. He just has to. I mean, he has to, and he has to be, and, you know, he's be looking down and he's scratching his head and saying, "What's going on here?" I mean, listen, if I was ranked number one by the WBC and they didn't take care of me, I would go through all kinds of extreme measures in order to get my shot. That means embarrassing Canelo. That means embarrassing the WBC. That means maybe taking legal action against the WBC, getting a lawyer, getting somebody to talk about it. I mean, getting a big tour bus, getting a big tour bus and put it on the side. El Canela, you know, the girl, Canela. Canelo's female, Canelo's male. Canela El Pollo. I'm putting it to you like that. Put it on the side of a bus and drive it all through Mexico. El Pollo is afraid of David Benavidez. Drive that all around Mexico. Guess what? I bet you in about 2 weeks, Canelo says, you know what? I'm taking too much heat here. I'm willing to sign to fight Benavidez. That's what it will take. It will take insulting his ego. Because I want $200 million to fight Benavidez. Why would you want $200 million? The guy's number one contender, former champion. Come on, man. Anyway, Canelo Alvarez, I'm just not high on him. I just wish he would go away. I think pound for pound king of boxing is no more. You are tuned to Ring Talk live worldwide.
Hello, this is Gabriel Ruelas. Stay tuned for WBC TV and BIV Network.
Hi, I'm Karthik Satyanarayan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wildlife SOS. You can help save India's wildlife by subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also like, comment and share this video. Thank you.
Eight 800-867-6917. 800-867-6917. That's 800-867-6917.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Hey, Pedro, how you doing? And good evening to everybody out there listening to the show.
El Checanito. That was Genaro Hernandez. When he had been diagnosed with cancer, he went through chemotherapy. We thought he had beaten it. And of course, he was feeling good and talking good. And of course, the conversation prior was 3 days before he passed. May he rest in peace, the great Chicanito Hernandez. May you enjoy your birthday in heaven. Shakur Stevenson, 21 is it, the 2016, I think, Olympic silver medalist, I think. He's going to take on 2016 Olympic bronze medalist Artem Hartarin, 12-1. They'll be on ESPN July the 6th from Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Of course, anytime he goes home to Newark, it's a risk because he gets in trouble there. I'm talking about Shakur. Of course, Shakur is the guy I thought that was really going to do things until his last fight. Of course, in the co-feature, O'Shaquie Foster, 22-2, will defend his WBC super featherweight title against Olympic gold medalist and three-time world challenger Robinson Canessio, of course, from Brazil, 18-2, who's former, I think he was Olympic gold medalist out of Brazil. Yeah, 2016, 18-2-1, 9 KOs. Well, O'Shaquie Foster, I'm not too high on him. Shakur Stevenson, I was high on him, but not anymore. Bottom line is, I think Shakur sort of ran, I think he ran his gamut. I just think he ran his gamut. Anyway, in hour number 2, we'll bring in Barry on Boxing. He'll be here in studio, probably about 20 minutes past the hour. And, of course, the retired HBO Godfather Larry Merchant will spend some time with us today. Of course, the retired HBO Godfather watched the fights last night, and he's been watching a lot of fights at home. Of course, get this, Larry's 93. Is he 93 now? Yeah, 93. Born in born in 1931, and he's February 9th, 1931. Of course, that was the same day as the Tyson Douglas meltdown there in Tokyo, February 9th, of course. But the bottom line is February 9th, 1931. He's 93 years old. He still goes out. He still walks. He still works out. Of course, last year he was real close to death, but he wasn't. Remember, TMZ came out and said, Larry Merchant's dying. Larry Merchant's dying. So I got on the phone. I'm freaking out, calling people. Oh, Larry. And then Larry's son calls me up and says, Pedro, you got to chill. I got to chill. It's all fake news. What do you mean fake news? What do you mean fake news? Fake news is Donald Trump. What are you talking about? He goes, no, it's fake news. Larry's fine. So what do you mean Larry's fine? He goes, he had a little medical condition. He goes, he wasn't feeling too good after the gym. He goes, so he went to the hospital. He had his heart was beating a little erratically. I said, that's all? He goes, yeah. So bottom line is TMZ had him written off. He's in critical condition after 2 hours after entering the hospital, that kind of stuff. The retired HBO Godfather is in rare form, and you'll find out in about 15 or 20 minutes here on Ring Talk Live Worldwide as we zoom into hour number 2 after the biased, racist news at the top of the hour. So I ask that you turn off your radio or your television or whatever you do for 6 minutes, and then come back at 12:06 p.m. Pacific time and join us for hour number 2 of Ring Talk Live Worldwide with Barry L. Boxing and, of course, the retired HBO Godfather Larry Merchant. Ring Talk Live Worldwide, hour number 1 is in the bank. Of course, this is a production of the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and the executive producer, of course, is the impeccable one, Bailey Peck.
To my brothers, the boxers of the world. My cradle as a newborn baby was filled with the best wishes, as it is always for a firstborn. My mom and dad didn't know how to be parents, and they took care of me in the best way they knew how. Years went by, and boxing was always present. As a 2-year-old kid, I have a picture with Raúl Raton Macías in his arms. Boxing was my dad's life. Even though he had been in the sport for years, as an amateur boxer, a referee, a judge, and a small-town commissioner, when he stepped up to the presidency of the WBC, and not precisely by his choice, he got again the challenge of looking after those kids of the world that wore gloves. And with firm steps, he undertook the endeavor as he did with me, of taking care of the boxers of the world in the best way he knew how, without any distinction of race, creed, nationality, or even affiliation to an organization. He strived to protect and educate you, making safety rules even against the toughest opposition, because in his heart, he had a mission. He cared for the fighters as he cared for us, and believe me when I say this, because he treated boxers in the same way he treated his kids, spanked them when it was necessary, and educated them in the best of his capacity so that they could take care of themselves, because the enemy of a boxer is not only the one in the ring. I saw tears in my dad's eyes when a boxer disrespected him, very much in the same way as when I did the same to him. My dear brothers, you have a strong voice, People follow your actions and teachings. They listen to you. And when you say to the press and at a face-off, I'm gonna hurt him, I'm gonna retire him, I'm gonna make him bleed, I'm gonna kill him, fans start drooling for blood and promoters start counting dollars. Yes, I know, the more money we have, the better. But please allow me to open your eyes to a reality. Your words are heard. You educate people. Please know it. People listen and engage. If any of you really mean it, well, so be it. But in your hands, you have the choice and the power to make a change, to bring back boxing as a sport first, and then as a spectacle from where you make a living. Don Jose did the best to elevate you. Now it's your turn to do your best to elevate the sport he left behind. Today I don't look to the sky to talk to my dad. I look straight to a boxer because I know that he is there, here, next to you, looking after you and still learning how to make your life easier and safer. All for the sake of your well-being and the nobility of the sport of boxing. When you are sad, when you're down or even angry, please remember that one man truly devoted his life for you. And all you have to do when you remember Don Jose Sulaiman is offer him a smile.
I've laughed and cried. I've had my fill.
El que deja de aprender terminó su vida. El que sigue aprendiendo sigue viviendo.
José Sulaiman! What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels.
Él me llevó por primera vez a una clínica de rehabilitación, como lo acabo de decir. Eso también se lo voy a hacer.
The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Did you have an idol in the past, or do you have an idol now?
My idol in the past was Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley es el ídolo que él ha tenido en el pasado.
Now my idol is Mr. Jose Sulaiman.
Ahora su ídolo es el señor José Sulaiman. Is your first time here in Mexico?
I came through once, but I can't remember exactly what I did, but I was here once.
One 41-25. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the West Coast, it's time for Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Your inside look into combat sports. Ring Talk Live Worldwide is brought to you by the World Boxing Council, the WBC. And now, the host of the longest running fight show in radio and internet history.
I am not these bubblegum dudes you're talking to.
Pedro Fernandez.
He will be mine in round 9. And if you makes me sore, I'll cut it to 4.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos, ladies and gentlemen, emanating, coming at you from the multi-million-dollar Sports Byline Studios in the city by the bay, San Francisco. Check it. This is Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Get this. We were the original podcast. I didn't even know what a podcast was. We were doing this stuff like back in the 1990s. So the bottom line is I've been knocking out bums longer than anybody else. Who am I? Let me tell you. My name is Pedro Fernandez. I am your ever so modest host. When I say modest, ask the impeccable one. Put it in caps. I'm a 4-time Golden Glove champion and an award-winning boxing writer. At one point in time, I was North American Boxing Writer of the Year, not once, but twice. I won a lot of awards for my boxing writing, but the bottom line is we're here to talk Ring Talk Live Worldwide Boxing and MMA. Of course, I don't get into the world of UFC too much because I believe it's just too barbaric, and the fact that I think the guys are being sacrificed. I think that's when they fight in the UFC, they're being sacrificed. When you get hit when you're on the ground, and somebody hits you and your head can't go backwards, that's unfair. That's just unfair. There's no way you can escape permanent injury. There's absolutely no way you can do it. So I'm trying to tell you is that MMA fighters are 3 times more likely to suffer chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, than a professional boxer. What? You trying to tell me boxing's safe? No, not really. But how about the NFL? The NFL, you're 200% more likely or twice as more likely to suffer CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, than you would if you're a professional boxer. And how do I know this? I interviewed a few football players. Mark Gastineau, for one. Of course, he was a professional boxer at one point in time. Eric Wright of the San Francisco 49ers, one of the all-pro cornerbacks, this and that. When you talk to these guys after football, that ain't the same. Sort of like talk to a punch-drunk fighter. I kid you not. Straight up, you're tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. On today's show, the second hour of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, hour number 2, we'll bring in Barry on boxing. Of course, we'll bring in the retired A2L Godfather Les. Next, Mr. Larry Merchant. I'm talking too fast. Guess what? I lost my keys during the break, and I found them, and I'm freaking out. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
As a girl, I was told no to almost everything. So I never asked permission to learn boxing. When I won my first title, people got to know that I was a boxer. Including my family, they were shocked. Since then, my life changed. There has been no stop. I kept training, set records, won title, and I won the first ever women title fight in the Middle East. I keep training to fight better. I still have a long way. Winning bigger titles, bigger dreams. My name is Urvashi Singh. I am a professional boxer from India, living in Dubai, and this is my life.
My first fight was over pitching, and that led me to here. Life is only a competition to improve life. I don't know. I was made to be that way, and I don't know, it gets scary sometimes. I'm so small, I'm hardly noticed, but I make a lot of noise.
I'm Frank Ripley, inventor of Frackwell, the boxer's water bottle. You're watching WBC Live Channel, powered by Vive.
Now, more Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
Right, you gonna run the 1-1? Yeah, 5:30. Sugar Ray Leonard dogging me. When we ran together, we were neck and neck for like 2.5 miles. And the last half mile, he disappeared. In fact, him and the van that was chasing us both disappeared out of my sight. I kid you not. That's how fast Ray Leonard was. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. Let's take it from Northern California to Southern California and bring in the retired HBO Godfather, Mr. Larry Merchant. First of all, happy Godmama's Day.
Well, thank you. We have Mother's Day, Godmother's Day, and I have a granddaughter who's pregnant, and so it's a happy moment.
It's a happy moment, no doubt about that. You get a chance to watch George Kambosos and Vasyl Lomachenko last night?
I did.
And overall, I was pretty impressed with Mr. Lomachenko. What about you?
I was too. They outclassed Kambosos. Excuse me for a moment.
It's okay, Larry. Just in case, clear your throat. We got Barry at the front door, so Bailey will be making his move to the front door right now to let Barry unboxing in. So, Godfather, it was a pretty good fight in Australia. Of course, has had Kambosos. The fact that he beat Teofimo Lopez, put himself in the spotlight, but he hasn't done anything since then. Lost the 2 fights to Haney, never won maybe a round in 24 rounds there. And last night he was shot out as well. So, talk about a fluke, him beating Teofimo. Was that a fluke?
Look, the result is the result. Maybe Teofimo wasn't in shape. Maybe the match was designed for the kid to do well. He's tough. He didn't stop last night, but he was stopped by Lomachenko.
Okay. The World Heavyweight Championship is going to go down in a week from now, and 6 days from now, of course, come to us from Saudi Arabia. I'm going to ask you again: is the Saudi money, is that good for boxing or not?
Well, I think an argument can be made both ways. I don't know how much of a difference it would make if main fights were staged in the U.S. instead of Saudi Arabia. But I think at bottom, if America had a serious heavyweight, we might have a different scenario. And fighters are making crazy money.
Yeah.
And good for them.
No, I'm all for fighters making money. You know that, Godfather. But I'm not big on the Saudis. And first of all, I've been to the Middle East, and if you ever been to the Middle East, unless there's something that wants to bring you back, you probably don't want to go back. I'll just put it to you like that. I didn't enjoy the heat. I didn't enjoy the fact that everybody smelled.
Well, they're using sports to westernize.
I get it.
Themselves.
I get it.
And boxing is an easy one to do.
Okay. The heavyweight champion is coming up in a week. As I said, Tyson Fury seems to be in real good shape there. I mean, he's down in weight. He looks lean, this and that. Is this going to boil down to the size? Size matters in two things: pornography and combat sports. And this is combat sports. And Tyson Fury's 6'9" and so much bigger than the other guy. He's going to smoke him.
Can I go back 30 seconds and ask you whether Lomachenko would fight Davis or Davis would fight Lomachenko?
You know what's funny, Godfather, is that I'm sitting here looking at a poster of Tyson Fury and Oleg Usyk, and Usyk's supposed to be 6'2", but he looks like he's almost Tyson Fury's size. And I asked Kenneth Rainford in the UK in hour number 1. He said that, get this, Oleg Usyk wears lifts.
Well, does it make him feel bigger? Maybe it serves the purpose.
But you and Godfather, you and I are short guys. I never thought about wearing lifts. Have you?
No, but we're old.
Okay, so is Tyson Fury going to win this fight, Godfather?
I give him a good shot because it's clear that he's very concerned and serious, and probably got him in a superior shape he can be at his age.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was at his best, he was virtually unbeatable.
Yeah.
We'll see how close to his best he can be, and how good the other guy is.
Good workmanlike performance for 12 rounds for Canelo Alvarez last week, but he doesn't seem to want to be talking about fighting the #1 contender for 3 years, Godfather. And I got a problem with that, because if I was #1 for 3 years, I think I would do what Graciano Roccaggini did, and I think I would sue the WBC. If you're not giving me my title fight, the rules say that you have to give a mandatory defense. The #1 guy gets a shot once a year. 3 years, we got a problem with that.
I understand that, and shame on those bodies and commissions and so on. But you have to admit that Canelo is bigger than just a champion. He could give up all his belts and they would get no money. And it wouldn't make any difference in terms of how many people would want to watch him. He's literally one of a kind. I would hope that next Cinco de Mayo he would fight that guy, what's his name? The one you just identified. Are you there?
The Bay. But I think that Benavidez is the real deal. He's beaten everybody who's put in front of him. He's 28-0, 24 KOs. And if you're ranked #1 for 3 years, Godfather, I couldn't imagine that being the #1 guy for 3 years and them telling you every year, oh, we got a different excuse for you. I mean, I would tell them to go shove it.
Well, I do too. I wonder, is it about the money?
Well, obviously it's about the money. Canelo says he wants $200 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how much does Benavidez want?
Benavidez was probably fighting for the cost of admission. I mean, he'll make more money off winning that fight than he will do anything else. I mean, he's willing to come in for short change. He's willing to come in light as far as the weight's concerned. I mean, all kinds of different intangibles that Canelo's brought up that David Benavidez is willing to do. But see, Benavidez doesn't respect Canelo, and Canelo's got a problem with the respect thing.
How old is he?
28.
Benavidez?
28.
Well, look, as I've often said, it's about the money, and if it puts Canelo in jeopardy, then he wants a lot of money. If you're going to lose, you might as well get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, but Mexico.
But there's shame on all of the commissions and the bodies, because they don't make their own rules work in the real world.
Well,
because of the money. They get more money for a Canelo fight than they would for 10 other fights.
I get it. Well, with that, I'm just saying, have a happy Mother's Day to you. I wish you the best. Hug the godmama for me. Give her a big kiss and wish her happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, and you and yours. Bye.
All the best to you. Retired HBO Godfather, Mr. Larry Merchant, 93 years young, on Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
Hey guys, this is Brian the Wine Punch Valoria. Stay tuned to WBC TV and Viv.
Golden Gloves is the top of amateur boxing. It's a national boxing tournament that takes place once a year. Boxers get to compete against other boxers from all over the United States. In 2024, it will be in the city of Detroit.
Let's go Detroit! Let's go Detroit!
We worked with Downtown Boxing Gym and the local Golden Gloves to bring the national championship here to Detroit.
It draws a national audience. A lot of people grew up going to the Golden Gloves and watching the Golden Gloves. It was almost like the Olympics of boxing, this is a great opportunity for local businesses to get national exposure.
Detroit has so much boxing heritage, so much history here, and this just really adds to the narrative to Detroit as a boxing destination.
When I step in the ring, I feel like nobody can beat me. To make it to this level, you need hard work, you need dedication. During a national tournament, I'll be kicking some butt.
The Golden Gloves are important because they're just a high-level competition and people fighting for their chance to be the best.
You're going to just see some great athletes on display.
It's right downtown Huntington Place, so it's easy to purchase, ticket and walk in and show support for the boxers.
Come out to the Golden Gloves and support boxers just like me.
Get yours, float up to the stars. Planets is a spot about 6 blocks east of Mars. Air soul kicks and crush velvet hats. Hanging off the Ave with the beautiful snaps. Riding the crest with the blessed give a yes. Planets kinda funky as if you hadn't guessed. Placebos getting blocked, funky joints get rocked. Java's not found, we flop from the flesh. Weather Jeep a lack, peek it as you bend it and float to them raps. Butterflies, planets with a jam 8 tracks. From the naughty tops with the twist and plaits. Look beneath my hat, find the brains that hit ya, Metro quite equipped. Knows of all the funk that was laid in 7 zips. Funk is fat, homie, don't you know me? Cool is back, give some skin, lay it on me. Groovy you could call it, hip yeah you could call we. Vicky sticky finger stuck up.
Fernandez.
He's young, he's handsome. They know it. He's a poet, a prophet, and many people believe he'll be the next heavyweight champion of the world. I saw Sonny Liston a few days ago, Jack. Ain't he ugly? He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ should be pretty like me.
That is the title cut from a Tower of Power album. Do they still call them albums? I used to call them records, but then they went from records to tapes to CDs to music drops. The bottom line is the Soul Side of Town. That's from the mighty Tower of Power. You can check them out at towerofpower.com. Now, we've got it. Greatness in the studio, folks. I'm talking about boxing royalty, of course, Barry on boxing. Barry, how's life treating you?
It's good. Pretty good for a Sunday morning.
For a Sunday morning? Yeah, you know, I mean, outside, any weed and people smoking weed out in front of the building?
Not today. Not today. I'm sure down the road.
You know, I mean, I come out of the studio and it's colorful. I mean, it's Broadway. You see all kinds of crazy stuff. What I see mostly is when I come in here on Sunday mornings, the guys going home from the strip clubs at like 10:30 to 11 o'clock, and these guys look more torn up than the impeccable one after a Saturday night. I mean,
there's a few of them out there now. Yeah,
they're still yeah.
What's
the street? I never understood the stripper thing. Did you? You ever go to the stripper?
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
I mean, come on, lap dances, that kind of stuff. You got to be kidding me.
It's like watching somebody eat, isn't it?
Yeah, either that, but you're going to tease me for what?
Exactly.
Tease me for what? Well, anyway, bottom line, let's go back to the subject of boxing. The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line next week. Of course, Oleg Usyk going to put some belts in his undefeated record against Tyson Fury, who's been undefeated with the exception of a draw. But he did lose to Ngannou, I thought. Did you think he lost to Ngannou?
No, I think he nicked it. Yeah.
I think
he did. I think he stole most of the rounds. Well, didn't steal them. He kind of outworked him a little bit. Yeah.
But, I mean, to look that bad against a novice, man.
Yeah, Fury's a bit like that, though, isn't he? I think when there's a big challenge, he thinks there's a challenge, he'll live up to it. But I don't think he took him seriously.
I keep going back to that Juan Rodriguez fight that I had where I dropped him in the gym with body shots. And I didn't want to spit on him like that, but I looked down and I snarl at the guy when he was on the ground, right? I snarl and so I dropped him a couple times. And then we had a real fight. And my mother says, you know, you better get together. She was my running coach. She says, you know, you're not running. I said, the guy's a bum.
Right.
That guy kicked my ass, right? I went home that night, and the house was dark, and Mom was smoking a cigarette in the dark. I knew it was her because I see the cigarette burning. She goes, She goes, you know what? She goes, I made a decision tonight. So you made a decision? She goes, yeah, I'm not going to let you embarrass me or the family. Either you're going to get in shape or you're not going to box.
Yeah, you got to be in shape. You live and learn, huh?
But I thought I was in shape.
Yeah, well, I guess not.
Oh, you said, man, he stunned me, knocked me down the first round.
With the body shot?
No, with a headshot.
The headshot.
I never got dropped with a body shot ever. Not in the gym, not in the ring. But I got dropped 6 times as an amateur fighter. Stopped twice, but never knocked out. Finished all my fights on my feet.
That's good. That's good.
Can I still remember that? Yes, I can. Anyway, back to Usyk. Does he wear lifts? Is he really 6'2" or 6'4"? What's the story? Is he wearing lifts?
I'm not sure. I think he's about 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a pretty good size. I was surprised when he first matched up to Fury face to face. He looked. I think Fury's a little surprised as well.
Okay. Outside of a bunch of money, and these guys are fighting for a lot of money in Saudi Arabia. Do you think there's an advantage? I mean, are you with? I asked Larry about this. I'll ask you about it. You're a boxing expert. Are you down with Saudi Arabia promoting all these boxing matches?
I'm not too sure at this point. I mean, I like the idea that they're matching up the best fighters in the world, which hasn't been happening for a long time, is it? But I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. How long it lasts.
They killed that journalist from the Washington Post with Kawagi.
Yeah.
I mean,
civil rights.
But listen, but they chopped him up alive.
Oh, nice.
He was in a room. He went to a room to meet the prince's people, right, of Saudi Arabia. He went to meet their people. He was in a room, and they started cutting him up alive. They held him down and cut him up alive. They killed him by cutting him up alive. So what I'm trying to say is that no women's rights over there. They're showing the prince here on my WBC TV screen here, this and that, but they don't have women's rights over there. All women can do over there is smell.
Yeah. No, it's questionable. It's kind of like the South.
You can't even drive a car.
Like the South Africa thing back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can't drive. Women can't drive a car.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of their lifestyle.
No, without a doubt. Anyway, I think there's obviously Larry says they're trying to buy themselves a better image. That's all.
Yeah, that could be part of it. Yeah. But who knows? He's a big boxing fan, but who knows how long?
Okay, but you ever been in the Middle East?
I haven't.
Okay, here's what's up. Once you've been there, you don't want to go back. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I've been to Dubai, spent a week and a half, 2 weeks in Dubai. I never want to go back to that place. I mean, all I can remember was that it was hot. And you know what they told me? This is wintertime. I said, really? Yeah. It was wintertime. It was 112 degrees in the winter.
Yeah, it's too much.
And wait, it's 130 in the summer.
Yeah.
So 112 in the winter. And they said to me, just chill, just relax. I said, what do you mean just relax? How can you relax like this, right? And it's a place where I think I can make bank if I could sell right guard. Right. Deodorant, I can make money selling deodorant in Dubai, man, because everybody stinks. Everybody, males, females. The only ones that don't stink are the people working in the hotels because they're.
I was going to say, I'd say you don't go out too much, a bit like Vegas.
No,
stay inside.
The Filipinos, they are most of the hotel workers in Dubai, and they're pretty clean. But the bottom line is, man, and I'm pretty sure that they think that they're clean and this and that, but they smell I get easily offended by odors.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Female odors.
I'm good. I have no sense of smell. So.
Oh, you have no sense of smell?
Bad eyesight, bad smell, bad hearing.
Oh,
I just bumble around.
That's probably the only thing I got going for me. So, Tyson Fury stops Usyk. Is there a challenger out there is Usyk the premier challenger?
Oh, without doubt, yeah, I think so. I mean, the heavyweights are mixing it up at the moment, so you never know some styles, isn't it? But yeah, they're definitely the best.
What about this head case here in the United? What's his name? Frank, the kid that. Oh God, I can't think of his name right now. He got into that top ranks heavyweight, the black guy.
You say Frank?
Franklin?
Sanchez?
Franklin? No. Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. Anyway.
You're talking the young guy.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anderson.
Jared Anderson. That's his name. Yeah. I mean, the guy gets arrested for like running away from the cops. He's drunk to 120 miles an hour. And then he gets in that fight with that dude who doesn't throw a punch back and doesn't do anything for 10 rounds.
Yeah. He looked like a promising guy, but he seems to be coming off the rails a little bit, doesn't he?
Head case. So, maybe a little blow, getting punched in the head. Listen, getting punched in the head is not healthy.
He's still young, loads of money, and maybe he's going a little crazy. The heavyweights have always been crazy.
You think so?
Yeah, I remember Lennox Lewis wiping out all the Galottas and Tyson. And
you know what? I'm glad you brought up Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was a 1988 Olympic gold medalist. Okay, he beat Riddick Bowe in the Olympics, no doubt about that. Would have beat Riddick Bowe as a pro, but Riddick Bowe ducked out of that fight. Lennox was very unappreciated because I'll tell you, when he fought David Tua, everybody thought that he was in trouble, this and that. Yeah. And then I took the IBO belt or one of the belts back to the dressing room with Emmanuel Stewart and Lennox Lewis, and I watched Lennox walk around the dressing room as to come down, and he's going, he wasn't spit. He wasn't spit. He's talking about Tua. I mean, Tua was just crazy. Oh my God!
A beast. I watched that fight just in the corner at the Condor Club.
Throwing Samoan. That's what they called him.
I thought Tua was going to give him trouble.
Yeah, until he got slow. You see the throwing Samoan became the slowing Samoan when he gained 10 pounds because He was shorter,
true.
and he couldn't cut off the distance.
Yeah.
When you can't cut the distance, you're in trouble.
I think in that fight as well, I think Lewis clouted him pretty good in the first round, if I remember.
Yeah.
And I think he got his respect straight away.
They did. I did the David Tua Ika Bibucci fight on HBO International Television.
Love that fight.
I did it by myself.
Oh, you did.
And Dan Duva said to me, he goes,
Jesus, there was a lot
Dan
of
Duva
action
says
in
to me, he goes, I was listening to the broadcast. He goes, you were out. You were on. He goes, Dan, because I mean, I was flowing for that fight. You didn't have, I mean, it was a great fight.
It's one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen.
1,200 punches thrown.
Yeah, unbelievable. Those two, even the last seconds, they were almost knocking each other's heads
off. Yeah, and Ike Bibucci, I remember interviewing him afterwards and realized he was a nut.
Oh yeah, he was.
I mean, realizing he was like way out there. And of course, he got arrested and went to prison for raping a hooker. Hey, I'm asking Bailey. Bailey, how do you rape a hooker? You don't know. I'm asking you, how do you rape a hooker?
Yeah, I'm the wrong person.
You don't care.
Right.
This was a pay dispute. It wasn't no sexual assault. It was a pay dispute.
Right.
And he spent 11 years in the pen for it.
Yeah, he did. And I think he would have been the next great one. I think he could have beaten Lewis.
Yeah, maybe. But the bottom line is his mental faculties were not there at all.
For sure. If you look at the fight with Tua and the fight with Chris Bird, he flattened Chris Bird. He really wanted to fight Bird. But, yeah, he was a maniac, but he was a... I saw
a picture of Chris Bird. He's 169 pounds now.
Yeah, he doesn't look good at that.
No, he doesn't, man.
I think
you try to tell people that, I'm pretty lean right now, and I feel pretty good at my weight. But a friend of mine said to me that he saw me yesterday. He goes, "I think you're getting a little too skinny." You really think so? I said, "I still got a belly a little bit, so don't tell me that." But as you get older, the ego's involved, and the belly's really hard. The belly's the hardest.
Yeah. I believe he changed the diet. That's the main thing, I think.
Yeah, but I like calories. You know what kind of calories I like? Liquid calories. I like to drink soda.
Oh yeah.
I'm a soda freak, man. It's the worst stuff in the world for you. Yeah. It's terrible.
Ice water all the time.
I know, but it just doesn't. Listen,
it doesn't have the sugar.
It doesn't have the sugar, but it doesn't have the caffeine either. But here's what's up. That was the reward for me. It used to be water when I boxed. It was water. I was disciplined when I boxed. It was water. Now it's soda. I have a hard time doing soda, so I do sodas every other night.
Okay. I only do soda with my brandy.
What kind of brandy you drink?
I'm not too fussy. Corbel usually.
I'm a Hennessy guy.
Hennessy. I've got some Hennessy at home at the moment.
Actually. I had a drink 3 months ago. One drink to see what it was like. I didn't drink it 4 or 5 years, and I didn't feel like I felt good at the time. But the next day I feel a little negative. Booze depresses me. It's a depressant. And the next day I sort of get depressed.
You got to pay the piper the next day. For sure.
Yeah, you got to pay the piper. So I don't want to pay the piper. So I just smoke all. Hey, here's what's funny. I'll say this. My doctor, Dr. Gina Moreno-John at UCSF. So she doesn't like to talk about marijuana. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't like to talk about it. So I'm having a video conference with her last week, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, she goes, so looking through your physical for the last time, she goes, you blew 100, your blood pressure's perfect, the whole 9 yards. She goes, I go, yeah, and I blow a ½ ounce a week of weed. And she goes, I'm going to go. So wait, did you hear me?
Yeah, she's not a fan, huh?
She's not a fan, but I wanted to make a note of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because here, I mean, if I could blow 100% oxygen and I'm smoking a ½ ounce of weed a week, something's up.
Yeah. No, I think
something's up. So anyway, bottom line is people say, of course, it's dangerous, this and that. But I remember they put my father in jail for 3.5 years for it, man. 1952.
That's crazy.
3.5 years in state penitentiary.
It's ruined a lot of lives. People getting arrested for that.
Yeah, here's what's up. In 1973, Richard Nixon was told that by the Drug Enforcement Agency that he should legalize marijuana or decriminalize it, but he was freaked out and didn't want to do it. But his own drug agency told him to do it right then and there.
Yeah, what a mistake.
It wasn't. Look how many
not his only mistake.
Man, not his own, but a lot of people in jail, man.
Yeah, no, it's
a lot of people. A lot of people. I mean, there are people. In fact, there are people still in prison in the country because of marijuana in different states. I mean, you smoke a joint in Dallas, Texas, you can go to jail.
The 3 strikes thing was probably.
Can you imagine that, smoking a joint in Dallas and going to jail?
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Yeah, well, I had the district attorney on my side when I went down there, so I smoked a lot of weed. I didn't care.
Right.
I knew I had people in City Hall.
Yeah. It's the same in England. They're still not legal over there.
No.
So, no.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get back to the subject of boxing after the break. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. More with Barry on Boxing on WBC TV, coming to you from the Sports Byline Broadcast Network in San Francisco, California. Right after the break.
I am the Tasmanian Devil, 5-time world champion. Tune in to the WBC. Tune in.
Devin Haney nació en San Francisco, California. Debutó en el año de 2015. Sus primeras 4 contiendas fueron en México. Conquistó el campeonato mundial peso ligero del WBC venciendo al dominicano Alfredo Santiago. Ha defendido el verde y oro contra Jorge Linares, Joseph Díaz, 2 veces contra George Kambosos y la más reciente en fenomenal y polémica contienda frente al ucraniano Vasil Lomachenko. Es poseedor de un estilo muy especial y de una gran velocidad para soltar los puños y para desplazarse a lo largo y ancho del cuadrilátero. Es un invitado especial en esta tarde de celebración. Es The Dream Devin Haney.
Mucha fuerza al término de cada episodio y en esta evidentemente siendo el hombre de casa.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
I think that the Affordable Care Act, you know, as long as it wasn't a name of the Obamacare, it would pass. They made the test already. But the fact of the matter is, at the essence of it all is people need health care.
Don King talking about the affordable health care, of course, Obamacare, call it what you want. Guess what? The white folks were against it. It was called Obamacare. When they called it the Affordable Care Act, it was cool. What do you say? Bottom line is, everybody needs health care. Everybody deserves health care. Speaking of health care, Barry, how's life treating you and all, as a general?
How's life treating me?
How's life treating you? I gotta ask you that one question before we get started.
Pretty good, pretty good. No complaints.
Okay, and no White got off the deck in the first round against Lewis Neary and won in about the 10th round. That was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he impresses me every time I watch him. So, yeah. I even like seeing him get down. And I think the moment he went down, he was focused on getting back up. He was yeah, I think he's a complete fighter.
You know what? When getting knocked down is a shock. It's a shock. I mean, it just is. I think I've been knocked down 5 or 6 times. And it's just a shock. I mean, when you get really drilled and you're concussed, you're looking out saying, what the hell's going on here? Because everything's like, I remember my captain was telling me in Las Vegas when I fought in the Nationals, get up. What's he talking about? Get up. What's he talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about. World of confusion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he dealt with it really well. The second he was knocked down, he was eyes focused and ready for the count. And yeah. I think it's good to see him down and get back up and fight through it.
Okay, how can you call Terrence Crawford a pound-for-pound great when he only fights one time in the last 4 years, once a year for the last 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's right up there with it in a way, but yeah, I don't think he's fighting enough. But I think he's looking for the big fights now, isn't he? Ready to close out.
Well, he ran away from Boots Ennis.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough in it for him, is there? He might eventually fight him.
See, Barry, I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I got a problem when you guys tell me there's not enough in it. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no,
crap.
I agree.
No, that doesn't. If you're ranked number one, you're ranked number one. Doesn't matter if there's enough in it. You're ranked number one.
I agree. I think maybe he wants the challenge of stepping up for another belt instead, and probably the easier fight. But I don't know if Dreamov was an easier fight, to be honest with you.
Well, Boots Ennis deserves his shot, man. I mean,
he does.
you know, he's been around a long time now, and he's getting long in the tooth.
Yeah. Who? Ennis?
Yeah.
Yeah, was he 26?
Yeah, but the whole point is he's been on the shelf. And if you're not fighting guys, you get old.
Yeah, but now he's got a belt. I mean, it was kind of handed to him, but now they've all got to come to him, haven't they? So,
you know what, Barry? I remember one time I went to a tournament, and they said nobody showed up. And they said, we're going to give you the diamond belt. I wouldn't take it.
No, that's fair enough.
I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I walked. I mean, that was like 1985. I said, no. I'm not going to take. I traveled all the way to Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
Weighed in the whole 9 yards. I go, you're the champion. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I don't want no trophies I didn't earn.
I get that. Yeah. No, I understand. But I mean, once he defends it, I think he'll.
Remember Pat Lawler, the guy that fought Roberto Duran out of San Francisco?
Remember Pat Lawler. Yeah.
He won he got 5 Golden Glove championships, right? 3 of them were vacants.
Okay.
You get 3. Come on, man, that's a gift.
Yeah. No,
Dan McGuire, same thing. He's got like 5 Golden Glove titles. That's why I won every title I won. I won.
Yeah.
I fought for and won.
It's got to be a better feeling.
That's just. I mean, how can you go around and call yourself champion because nobody else showed up?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So Illinois, pound for pound, the king.
I think so. I think he has been since he beat Manny Rodriguez. To be honest with you,
I think he has too. I think without a doubt. As far as the rest of the pound for pound world contenders are concerned, I mean, we're looking at Shakur Stevenson. His stock dropped in that last fight, didn't it?
It did. I mean, he's not a top 10 guy yet. Skills wise, maybe, but I don't think he's done enough.
He's all
top
talk.
10. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to fight him either. He's another guy that, but once he gets in, yeah.
They were saying that you were saying that a year ago about Haney, weren't you? Nobody wanted to fight Haney.
Yeah, he was getting voided as well. He wanted to fight Lomachenko a good few years ago.
But Lomachenko beat him, and then when they did fight.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Barry, the entire world thinks that the entire world goes the other way.
I think it could have gone either way, but I scored for him.
7-5, I had it for Lomachenko. 7-5 means 6-6 means a draw.
Yeah.
7-5 is one round the other way.
I think I had it the other way around.
Yeah.
7-5.
Speaking of Lomachenko, I didn't think he. People said to me last night he looked fabulous, fantastic, all these different superlatives to describe him. I think it was the opposition that made him look good.
Yeah, I mean, Kambosos is limited, isn't he? So
he couldn't win the Golden Gloves here.
Yeah. No, he's a tough fighter, but
no, he's tough. But
yeah.
he couldn't win the Golden Gloves here.
I didn't see how anyone gave him any chances in that fight before, but I thought Lomachenko ended the fight for him.
How the hell did he beat Teofimo?
Yeah, I think Teo's a bit up and down, isn't he? You kind of underestimated him, and he's unpredictable. I think Teofimo lost to the Sandor Martin.
Yeah.
So that's two.
What did you say to the hot mic comment before the decision was announced? Have I still got it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he said. Have I still got it?
But he's hot and cold. I mean, yeah. He's all
so Sandor Martin's going to take on the aforementioned Devin Haney, the glass jaw Devin Haney. Devin Haney. Am I just dogging Devin and calling him glass jaw? Tell me.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit much. I don't think he takes the greatest punch.
Anytime he's been hit, he's never been hit in fights. He's pitching shutouts for the most part, okay?
He's not been in with many punches.
No. And Linares is not really much of a puncher. Linares had him walking back to that corner drunk after the 10th round, okay? And then every time Ryan hit him, he seemed to like wobble a little bit.
Garcia was a welterweight.
So you still say now you and I are hip to the fact that 3.5 pound weight advantage was a smooth move because you didn't have to drain yourself down and kill yourself to make 140.
Massive difference. If you looked at Haney on the scales, he had hollow eyes, more so than I've ever seen before.
But you know what? But here's what's up. But then again, he shouldn't be fighting at 140. I mean, if the guy's weighing 165 in the ring, I mean, I'd have a problem with it. Listen, the most I weighed in fights when I weighed 139 at a Golden Glove weigh-in, and they gave me 2 days before I had to fight. I weighed 142 or 143. I mean, there was never no big weight gain or anything like that.
No. And you say that Haney weighed more than Garcia in the ring?
165, 5 pounds heavier in the ring.
Garcia looked way bigger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's on maybe the Hulk juice.
Speaking of Hulk juice, have they confirmed that whether he's good? Whether
I don't think so. No. I think they're going to do a second test, weren't they? And I'm not quite sure, but something was wrong. That whole thing was a mess.
And you don't think the referee was in Haney's pocket?
To be honest, I didn't watch the whole fight. I wasn't going to pay for Garcia. I was like, yeah. So I watched the highlights and.
Didn't I send you the link?
Not for that one.
Didn't I send you the link?
I don't think so.
I'll send you the link. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'd like to sit down and watch that.
We don't know anything about links in here. We know nothing about links. I'm telling you, we know nothing.
Yeah, people are sending us photos, and it's like during the show, but we know nothing about links. We know nothing about that. Bottom line is methlabs.com. Ooh, did I really say that? You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide, not methlabs.com. Now, the Noah's the best. Who's second best?
Crawford.
Eliminate Crawford, fighting once a year every 4 years. Who would be the next guy?
I think on talent, I think
Peter Bev?
either Fury or Usyk.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, and I think Beterbiev would probably be next. Then Bivol.
You know who I'm really high on is this guy, and I'm not big on 112 pounders because they got carry the 8-ounce gloves. Oh, speaking of gloves, if you looked at Kambosos' gloves last night, he was wearing the big, thick Everlast gloves, much as Haney was. Now these guys aren't punchers. Why would they wear pillows? Because they're getting money. Because they're getting money, okay? And if you look at Lomachenko's gloves, they were fitted to his hand. They were snug, little, tight gloves, man, compact gloves.
Okay.
I mean, you look at those gloves, two big differences. Same thing with Haney. Haney wore the big, fat Everlast gloves. And here's what's up. If you can't punch, why bring in pillows?
It doesn't make sense. It's only really if you got
money.
If you got
money.
bad hands, you want to wear the pillows. But yeah,
money. No. See, I'm against that. I think you got bad hands. I think you go for it, and you knock people out, and you get it done.
that makes sense too. Yeah,
You get it done. Joe Calzaghe. I mean, Joe told me about his bad hands. In fact, I told Joe one time. I said, Pat Lawler's fought a lot of guys. The aforementioned Pat Lawler fought Benitez, Arredondo, Duran twice. I said, he fought a lot of guys. But yet he said, did you hit him the hardest? I said, you're not known as a knockout punch. He goes, early on, I could crack.
Yeah.
Before I hurt my hands, I could really crack.
He put Eubank down in the first round.
I hit Pat with a right hook. And then I said to myself, ooh, a right hook, because that's what Ernie Chavez hit me with in Vegas. I mean, the first thing I remember is I had pain in my ear. My ear hit the ground so hard. I said, well, my ear's hurting. Why is my ear hurting? Well, you're on the ground, buddy, knucklehead. But there was that right hook. Let me tell you, Ernie Chavez hit me harder in that welterweight national Golden Gloves fight than I've ever been hit with a steel flashlight by a cop, by a crook. A crook, we were rolling around the ground, and a crook grabbed another cop's crash light and hit me in the head with it, right? And that was nothing compared to the. I saw stars when Ernie hit me.
Yeah.
I mean, really saw stars.
Get one on the ear, it definitely hurts.
Whoa, no doubt about that. Okay, what about Jesse Rodriguez? You like him?
I think he's a great little fighter. Yeah.
Okay, and Juan Francisco Estrada is going to be the guy that beat Chocolito once or twice. He's going to be the opponent, of course, for the WBC 150-pound title, even though they had the interim title last night that Pedro Guevara won over Andrew Maloney. But the bottom line is, Estrada, I think, is past his peak, and this is a prime spot for Rodriguez to move in and just grab another belt.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think Estrada's not been fighting enough either. So, yeah, it's going to be a big factor.
Can you imagine how exciting flyweight boxing would be if they cut the gloves back just to 6 ounces?
Yeah, it would make sense. Little guys can.
Why should Tyson Fury wear a 10-ounce glove at 270 pounds and Bam Rodriguez wear an 8-ounce glove at 112 pounds?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
2-ounce difference?
lot of things in boxing don't make much sense.
All right. Speaking of women's boxing, Clarissa Shields talking about she wants to come out and do a intergender fight with Ryan Garcia. Why dog her? Was she talented? Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, I think she's a great fighter, actually. Who's the English girl she beat? I've got her name right now. The big fight a year or so ago.
Yeah, Mahoney or
Marshall, Savannah Marshall.
Yeah, Savannah Marshall.
I thought she might have lost that fight, but she fought. Yeah, great performance. So I think she's a great fighter.
Okay, but she can't punch.
No, she can't.
No knockouts and 12 wins. I mean, here's what's up. So what I'm trying to tell you is if they lessen the gloves a little bit, or they design the gloves to where there was less padding in the fist part and more padding on the wrist part.
Right.
Less on the fist, more on the wrist.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that can enhance women's boxing because I watched that women's fight last night. That 10-round women's fight in between those two fights last night. That was trash. You know what they call that? Low rent filler.
Okay. I missed that one actually.
Thank God.
I just watched the main event.
You were so lucky.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they put this on in between. There's two chicks, just pounding on each other, not doing anything.
There's not enough knockouts in women's boxing.
Not enough knockouts in women's boxing. Not enough excitement in women's boxing.
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that Amanda Serrano wants to go 3-minute rounds because she wants to be just like the men. Well, guess what? You don't have the upper body strength. You don't have the punching power. You don't have the leverage you put on punches. So how about just doing the 2-minute rounds and making them exciting?
Yeah, kind of makes sense. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So who else is prime right now? Now Benavidez. Does Benavidez beat Canelo?
I think it's a tough fight. I think it's 50-50.
Really?
Yeah.
You're probably one of the few guys that feel that way outside of Mexico.
Yeah, no, I thought Canelo looked pretty good against Munguia, and I think there's maybe a tune-up fight for the Benavidez fight.
Yeah, you don't think he carried him, huh?
I don't think so, no. And I think Munguia buzzed him a few times. I think.
Munguia did buzz him early, but the whole point is that once the knockdown was put in place, and he sort of said, "Look, man, I'm in charge here." Munguia just said,
okay, I'm gonna go along with the ride for the rest of the ride.
Kind of cruised it towards the end, but yeah, I
Okay.
think Monkey put up a good fight there.
I'm looking at the top 20 of pound-for-pound boxing. There's nobody that really. I mean, there's a few guys here that merit. Boxing looks like it's hurting right now. Is it?
I don't know. I mean, we're getting the biggest matchups finally, aren't we? Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good.
Okay. Who would win, Beterbiev or Bivol?
You know what? I'm leaning towards Bivol. Watching their whole careers, I was always Beterbiev, but I feel like Bivol's really come on. Like, win against Ramirez and Canelo, and I wouldn't even be shocked if Bivol won by knockout, by stoppage.
Emmanuel Navarrete, I thought he peaked out at 122. He's still going at 130, WBO 130-pound champion. He's going to take on Dennis Brinchik. That's going to go down the May 18th on 2024. It'll be on ESPN, I believe, from Bachanga down there in San Diego. WBO World Lightweight title, on 135. Is he putting on too much weight? You know, I mean, because you put on the weight, and eventually you lose.
Yeah, he hasn't looked quite so good as he
No.
stepped up to 130.
He looks lazy.
His body's going to be out of shape at 135. He doesn't look great at 130. So
A little chubby at 130.
It's kind of a big jump, I think, 130 to 135.
Guys don't realize that, man.
Yeah.
I remember, listen, Barry, I thought that going from 139 pounds to 147 would be a breeze.
Yeah.
You should see me. I'm saying to myself, I'm tired of making the weight. And my team saying to me, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't make this move. They were saying they were against it, but I was for it, so I did it.
Yeah,
And it was a big mistake.
Well, people have been talking about Noe jumping up to fight Tank Davis, which is
At
insanity.
what, 135,
Yeah,
140?
I mean, yeah,
Let Tank
insane,
Davis come down to 126.
Yeah, if he could do that. Yeah,
If
that
he
would
could do
make more
that,
sense.
that would make.
I don't think he can get down
So
there.
is Hanoi reach his peak as far as 122, 126 type of things?
Yeah, I think so. I think he can do well at 126, but I think he's probably peaked already.
Straight up, you are tuning to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. We'll come back with Barry on boxing right after the break.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP?
Rubén El Púas Olivares es para muchos especialistas en el tema uno de los 10 mejores boxeadores mexicanos de todos los tiempos.
Y lo prendió Olivares, trata de irse hacia las sogas, iba a caer, pero las sogas lo detuvieron, está golpeando a dos manos. Olivares
Explosivo y alucinante hasta el éxtasis contemplativo de observar a un hombre forjado en el barrio y exaltado en el ring. Con la emoción y el peligro constante de no conocer los pasos hacia atrás. El popular Púas se hizo ídolo de una manera natural, casi sin saberlo, gozando del cariño, la admiración y el respeto del público en las arenas y en las calles. La trilogía con Chucho Castillo en los años 70 es una serie clásica. Campeón mundial gallo y pluma, miembro del Salón de la Fama en Canastota, Nueva York. Rubén es un inmortal del boxeo.
Hello, this is Gabriel Ruelas. Stay tuned for WBC TV and BIV Network.
Or you. Now, I'm not trying to say Devin's gay, and there's nothing wrong with being gay. I'm trying to say is that Devin, did he do you? Straight up, you tune to Ring Talk Live worldwide. You're inside looking at the world of boxing and MMA, of course. Terrence Crawford, Omaha, Nebraska, 40-0, 31 KOs, former lightweight champion, former junior welterweight champion, now, of course, the welterweight champion at 147 pounds, taking on Israel Madrimov, 10-0 with one draw. Why do you give this guy a shot? He's only got 11 fights.
Very heavy-handed, extremely athletic, and he's got the right mindset. He's going to give him a tough fight.
Okay. Crawford is fighting once every 4 years. First of all, Earl Spence. Should Earl Spence ever fight again?
Absolutely not.
Did he have fought after the car accident?
Probably not, to be honest with you. But I mean, he did all right against was it Garcia?
But had he been injured like that in a boxing match, you think they would have allowed him to box again after, you know?
I mean, the injuries he got away with, I don't think he was even that severely injured, was he? Scrapes, broken teeth.
No, he had a brain bleed. He had blood around both eyes, man. He had a big brain bleed in there.
I didn't realize it was that.
Oh, yeah. There was blood around both. 2 weeks later, there was blood around both corneas. So that tells me he had a brain bleed.
He's not the same guy. Yeah. I think even before the accident, he struggled like hell with Sean Porter.
You know, I think unlike me, that he smokes too much weed. I think Earl just smokes too much weed. But Crawford, you think that's a possible upset there, huh?
There's a chance, yeah. I mean, you tend to think of Crawford as being unbeatable, but yeah, and stepping up another division.
Why don't you and I drive down to LA and watch that fight?
Yeah, it's a
possibility. You want to do that?
It's a possibility.
I'll get credentials and we'll go down and watch that fight.
Okay, sounds
Smoke
good.
a bunch of weed going down the road.
There you go.
And we have a good time. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for listening, man. I feel indebted each time you come in here. I really respect you for your time.
No problem.
Very unboxing.
My pleasure.
In the other room, I've got the impeccable one. He's been kicking ass all day. And he helped me find my car keys. Let me tell you, I lost my keys coming in here. And I couldn't find them. They dropped them on the floor. We were freaking out for the first hour. That's why the first hour was so good. I was stressed out. Outside of that, hour number 2 was okay. And the impeccable one's in the other room. Barry's here. I want to thank Larry Merchant. I want to thank Kenny Rainford in hour number 1. Of course, I'm trying to get him knighted, trying to get Barry knighted as well. Until next time, peace, love, and a ton of respect. This is Ring Talk.